Alright, hello everybody. So in this video, I'm going over my mistakes that I did with my main pair, which is GU. Um, yeah, this slapped me up this week. It's horrible. So, but sometimes the only way for you to learn is you gotta pay for it. So, hopefully, if you're watching this, we can learn something together. And when we do come back into areas like this, we have a better understanding on what we can do, what we should have done, how we could have gone more about this. All right. So first things first this was a big news week, right? We had FOMC, I think it's called. Let's look that up real quick. Make sure I got the terminology right. Calendar. Yeah, FOMC. Right. So huge news week, and yeah, we even see the fact that there was something about interest rates too. So usually around these huge news weeks is the market will be a bit more consolidated and a lot sloppier. So that was one mistake that I did, and yeah, I should have been more aware of those. So second thing is I was kind of getting stuck in a bias, right? I understood the fact that where we were still predominantly more. Oops, that is not my fibs. Right. Still predominantly more bullish structurally, right? We retraced to 61.8%, right? Still understood though that monthly and weekly was not indicating anything. When we were in this week, it was bullish and bearish, bullish and bearish, and then doji for 2 or 3 days. So we also noticed that we were in a range, and it wasn't like a sloppy range where some levels are like here and then other levels are here, then the other levels is here. No, this was the most basic of basic ranges, right? You had a level of support and you had a level of resistance, and it was bouncing in between those two things. What I was doing wrong was I was still anticipating a breakout predominantly more to the bullish side of this, right? But yeah, I was over anticipating. That's essentially what I did. I was over anticipating instead of trying to react with the data that I had available. I was trying to over predict the market with data I did not have, if that makes sense, right? We didn't break any strong levels of support or resistance. We maintained it, right? So one move that I did miss was this push down right here, right? So what happened was when this market opened, I think on Sunday, I was in this move right up in here since Friday, right? So I got stuck in a bias since Friday after it broke just a level of resistance, made a higher low point, and then structurally I was anticipating this on like a lower time frame because it never really broke anything, right? But when it started breaking minor levels of resistance or support, that should have indicated that we are switching over. Plus on top of that, where were we? We're starting to form a lower high point on H4, which means one thing and one thing only, is that we are anticipating a steeper retrace. We're even having the cross of the SMA and EMA with the simple moving average. It's red over blue, meaning that there's more bearish momentum in the market at that time, right? So I was still being ignorant and not realizing any of that, to where when it broke this level right in here, we can see a bit more detail on M30. When it broke that level of support, that was it. Even if we broke this minor level of resistance, with it forming the way that it was, and we respected the top of the range, and we're making a lower high point and everything like that, we could have been with a bit more detail, right? Structurally should have been H1, right? This push off of this range. This retrace to like 50%, a double top pattern, which is only valid in a downtrend, right? Meaning that this counter trend is done. And then on lower time frames, right, we first broke a level of support, right? Then we broke this level of resistance right in here. So we need to make sure the fact that we are still in the right trend, right? So we broke this minor level right in here, right? And then this right in here could have been your entry, right? If you didn't want to go down any further than that, we could have gone down to M5, but for simplicity's sake, let's just stick to M15. So that could have been your entry right in there, which you had multiple reasons to enter. One, you had that double top pattern on H1, right? You had the lower high point on H4. You had the cross of the SMA and EMA on this time frame as well. And you had to break a level of support. So you're having all these reasons that you could have entered, right? And maintained it. So even when we did break a minor level on here, we could have held it more, right? Simply now understanding the fact that we're bearish, right? We're making lower high points off of H4, we're off of H1. We're in a downtrend, aiming for that main level of support that it's maintaining this range. All these areas, but I was sticking to H4, right? I was seeing the fact that we didn't necessarily break a level of support. Seeing this, I was anticipating more of a maintaining of this area. I was ignoring all of this stuff, and even on, this is the kicker, look at how that daily candle formed. Yeah, we had a little bit of sellers exhaustion down here, but we still closed with more bears in the market than bulls. So that was one move that I missed, right? And then this right here was just a simple retrace. This right here. So after it actually broke this level of support, right? Broke the level of support, you could have had now the main fibs, right? Retrace to 50%. Break, retest, enter, maintain off of this time frame. TP. That was it. Break, retest, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That could have been your entry. Little bit of drawdown, or you could have gone to a lower time frame. Again, for simplicity's sake, we're just going to stay off of M15, right? So break, retest, cross the SMA and EMA, maintained it this entire time. So let's just say we did enter right here. You saw not even up. You saw maybe 2 pips worth of drawdown. So to that first TP. So now the following move gets a little confusing, right? We had this steep retrace. 1. Right? We had this break of this area. We can't really draw it from here to here. That's too steep, right? Yes, we were maintaining this area of resistance right here. We were maintaining this area of resistance. So even if it retraced all the way up here, you looking for sells while understanding that this is a level of resistance, you're not necessarily wrong. But we bounced off this level of support. At that time, understanding and seeing all this seller's exhaustion right here, seeing this big bullish move, we needed to break something significant. We needed break something significant, which we never did, right? We tested these entire areas right in here, right? So then it broke this area, right? Retraced, which we were anticipating after it broke. Retraced A to B. I mean, this right in here, there would have been no way for me to have entered based off of my trading style, based off of my stuff that I'm looking for, right? This was all FOMC. This big push right in here. So when it started finding areas of resistance based off the volume that it had behind it, we could have gone down to lower time frames. See the fact that it maintained an area of support, right? So you could have had this area right in here. That could have been your entry, right? And your stop loss could have been, for me, if there's not a clear area, oops, that's shorts, I at least like to go for 15 pips. 12 to 15, right? So 10 is a little bit too close. So let's just say for 15, right? And then, your aim is for that first TP. So it's a 1 or 2. It's not terrible, right? It's a 1 to 2.5. So it's not terrible. The fact though that everything had to be off of H or M1, that's where it makes it sketchy. So that move I can't beat myself up for not catching it, because the entry style just isn't necessarily how I like to enter or anything like that. And like I said, that was a huge news event. So, but there's other moves that I did miss too, right? That because I was always behind the market, not flowing with the market, and when I was doing stuff after it showed you something to where you could start anticipating it better. So I was always behind the market this week, right? So we had, after that, our fibs from A to B, and then this is where I started messing up again of still anticipating that break, right? So first things first, we had more bearish volume here, right? We see an area of resistance, and we saw a break of level of support. As soon as we saw that break of a level of support, right? 1, 2, and it finding a level of support, fibs A to B. So you could have had it there, or you could have had it there, by your personal preference, right? We retraced to 50%. Now here's where I went wrong. I was still more bullish. So when it started doing this off of H4, where I was on the wrong time frame, to be honest, for all of this, I was on the wrong time frame for this. I was seeing it actually finding a major level of support, break, retest. I actually entered right in here because it was so late at night, so I at least broke, and I was still anticipating it to be in drawdown, which I was perfectly fine with. But this right here would have been your actual entry, right? But here's the thing, all of this was a counter trend, right? So when I woke up, I was in drawdown. I think I was like somewhere right in here, and I was like, okay, cool. We're still, we only broke a level of support. This is just counter trending to make a trend, right, to push up. I ignored the bearish candle off of daily. I ignored the fact that we were showing a lot of buyer's exhaustion. I was ignoring the fact that we had these long wicks to the top, right, which was our 23.6% area. So I ignored the fact that it broke a level of support, right? Now, luckily, I was able to quickly reassess and catch something to make up this loss that I took from being in that counter trend, right, and not closing out when I should have. So we broke a level of support, right? This was minor, right? This area right in here was minor, but we could still draw it across, right? Look, we had 100% retest, right? So this was just in a minor area of consolidation, but when all of this was forming, this H4 candle was still forming. You could have seen that along and correlated it with the daily volume. Still have your fibs from A to B. Look, watch. A double top, which we established that is only valid in a downtrend, which is where we are at. And then what did it do? It dropped, right? So this counter trend, this was the main area, right? This was the minor, this was the main. We see this off of two different time frames. So when this happened, right? Hold on. Watch how simple this is going to be. Right? For one, if you wanted to, you could have entered here off of pure confidence. Right? This double top pattern, right? Had your stop loss above that wick, 20 pips. Oops, I fucked that up. What do we say? 20 pips? 20 pips. Right? Even 20 pips, let's just say. And then, hold on. First TP, that was a 1 to 3. And then your second TP, which was a 1 to 5. A 1 to 5 risk to reward. And you were in profit that entire time, right? If you missed that entry, this break, retest, you could have broke this down just to a lower time frame, make sure that this was just a lower low and a break and everything like that, but you could have entered right in here, cross of the SMA and EMA, had your stop loss up in here, 12 to 15 pips, let's just say 15 pips, right? Still pushed all the way down, still a 1 to 5 risk to reward, saw a little bit of drawdown, saw 6 pips, almost 7 pips worth of drawdown. That's it. Right? And then drop. So where I entered, this was a quick assessment for me where I knew I was wrong. I knew I was in the wrong direction. Right? So after it started breaking all these levels, I quickly reassessed it. I reanalyzed exactly how we just broke it down, right? And I beat myself up real quick, realized I was an idiot for this week. I was breaking all these levels, right? Notice the fact that, okay, I might have an entry opportunity right in here, right? This minor counter trend. I entered as soon as we closed beyond this area, right? So this candle right in here. I think I had a stop loss up here, like 12 pips, and I think I held it. I either only held it to negative 27 because I was just getting rocked this week, or I held it to this level of support. I remember. Yeah, I held it to just simply this level of support, and I was satisfied and understood what I did wrong, and I was like, you know what? I made up the the loss. I didn't make up the account. My account's in drawdown right now, but I at least made up the loss, understood where I went wrong, reanalyzed, reassessed it, was able to have an entry opportunity, took it, didn't think, dropped. So this was a lot. This was a lot of information, but this goes to also show you though too of how quickly you can be on top of the world, and then the market will humble you. Okay, so this was a lot of time frame correlation stuff. This was a lot of paying attention to how candlesticks are forming, volume, breaks of levels of supports, breaks of levels of resistance. This was a week of work for sure. This wasn't just some simple, okay, we're maintaining a trend, or we're trending or anything like that. This was a week of work, and boy, it kicked my ass. So, a lot of lessons paid for this week. A lot of note taking, and that's about it. Not every week is going to be a nice, profitable week. So, anyways, if this video helped you out, please hit the like button and share this video. I would highly appreciate that. If you're not already, do subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with my analysis videos and to catch more of these videos that I'll break down trades that I've taken. I'll break down mistakes and such like that. So I do want to keep on adding more to the channel, but slowly and surely. So like I said, if this helped you out and if you like this video, please hit the like and share. And I'll highly appreciate that. And I will catch you on the next video. Peace.